Why do brands spend millions, sometimes billions, to sponsor music festivals, sports, and cultural events, such as Coca Cola at the Olympics, Budweiser at the World Cup, Pepsi at the Super Bowl, Rolex at Wimbledon? On the surface, it just logos everywhere. But underneath, it's strategy. Sponsorship is about owning cultural moments. Hi, I'm Akanksha, and this is the Storyteller's Lens, where I explore the psychology of marketing, branding, and culture. So today I'm breaking down why its sponsorship works, the risks, some brilliant case studies, and where this space is headed next. So stick around because by the end, you will never look at a halftime show or festival banner the same way again. So let's start with why brands do it in the first place. Number one is massive reach and impressions. Live events pull in concentrated audiences, tens of thousands in person, millions on TV or streaming. The FIFA World Cup 2022 drew 5 billion viewers. There's literally no media buy on earth that replicates that reach. Number 2 is association with lifestyle and identity. People don't just watch football. They don't just go to Coachella. They make it part of their identity. So when a brand shows up in that space, it's not just visibility, it's borrowing passion. Example, Coke at the Olympics. It's not about soda, it's about unity. Number 3 is experiential marketing. Events let brands activate. Sampling, immersive zones, AR booths, lounges. Heineken at the Champions League doesn't just buy and add space, they build fan zones worldwide. Fans don't just see the brand, they experience it. Number 4 is exclusivity and lockouts. So, Pepsi at the Super Bowl isn't just about their logo, it's about blocking Coke from that cultural moment. Priceless, isn't it? Next is content goldmine. Events create content, behind the scenes clips, collabs, TikTok moments. Red Bull mastered this. Their cliff dives, break dancing, even the Stratos jump. They are not just events, they are content factories. Next is local engagement. It's not just mega events. Brands also sponsor local marathons, cultural fairs, folk festivals. Tata Tea is sponsoring Indian cultural events. That's how a global brand taps into local pulse. Of course, sponsorships aren't all about upside. There are some challenges. And number one is cost versus return. They're insanely expensive. Do you know a 30-second Super Bowl ad is 7 million on top of a sponsorship fees? ROI is tough to measure without direct activations. Number 2 is logo soup. 30 logos plastered across a stadium? Unless you activate creatively, your logo is just wallpaper. Next is misalignment. Pick the wrong event and it's wasted money. A luxury watch at a college EDM fest? Zero resonance. Next is reputation risks. So events can go wrong, violence, backlash, controversy, and the sponsor takes a hit. Example, Pepsi pulled out of Madonna's 1989 tour after the Like a Pair controversy. Now let's see this in action. Let's look at some case studies. Number 1 is Red Bull, sports as a brand engine. They don't just sponsor events, they create them. Cliff diving, air races, a Stratos jump. It's a live translation of gives you wings. Lesson, sponsorship tied to brand DNA becomes storytelling. Number 2 is Budweiser and the FIFA World Cup. Sponsoring since 1986, they own beer plus football. 2022 was tricky with Qatar banning stadium alcohol. But Budweiser pivoted. They sent unsold beer to the winning country. PR win from a setback. Lesson, consistency builds equity. Agility saves you. Number 3 is Coachella and fashion or beauty brands. H&M, Revolve, Sephora go beyond logos. They do influencer collabs, pop-ups, lounges. Revolve even made their own Revolve festival, the Instagram event within the event. Lesson: sponsorship plus owned experiences is equal to multiplier effect. Next is Pepsi versus Coke, Super Bowl versus Olympics. Pepsi owned NFL halftime for decades. Pop culture is equal to Pepsi. Coke went Olympics. Unity is equal to Coke. Lesson: sponsorships can reinforce positioning for decades. Next is Rolex and tennis slash Formula One. They don't need mass highballs. They want precision, timelessness, elegance. Wimbledon F1, perfectly aligned. So, what's the lesson? Sometimes sponsorship is about values, not volume. Number 6 is Tata Mumbai Marathon. Tata connects endurance, resilience, community. Not just branding, employees run and not just branding, employees run charities benefit. Lesson: local resonance can beat global scale. So, where is the sponsorship going? Number 1 is hybrid and digital events. Not just stadium anymore. Twitch, eSports, metaverse concerts. Nike, Gucci, MasterCard are already there. Number 2 is data driven ROI. Wearables, QR codes, app tie-ins let sponsors measure engagement, such as footfall, clicks, conversions. Number 3 is cause plus culture. Sponsorships tie to purpose. Example: Ben and Jerry's supporting social justice themed music events. Next is micro cultural events. Instead of just Coachella, brands are spreading bets across 100 niche events, gaining cons, marathons, local fairs, sponsoring tribes, not just masses. So, the big takeaway: brands don't sponsor events just for eyeballs, they do it to borrow passion, to embed in culture, to create experiences advertising alone can't buy. The smartest sponsors don't stop at logos. They activate, they create content, they lock out rivals, they build associations that last decades. That's why you think Budweiser is equal to football, Rolex is equal to tennis. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe to the Storyteller's Lens and tell me in the comments which brand sponsorship nailed it and which one fell flat. Thanks for watching. I'm Akanksha and I'll see you in the next one.